you're doing pretty good today. I'm Rita Hickman, body mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, but I help women who are in narcissistic and toxic relationships learn how to take their body back, how to take their mind back, their soul back, their spirit back, and really start making progress in their life. You know, when I was little, I was a highly sensitive little girl, which meant that I felt pretty much everything that happened around me. When you add the normal trauma of the day, whether it was, and everybody had something different, whether it was sex abuse, whether it was child abuse, whether it was divorce, whether it was just a natural disaster, whether it was just a difficult time everybody was trying to go through. What happened was a lot of little girls who were very sensitive We're back. Sorry. I would practically pee my pants. I would run into my bedroom. I would gather it all up and I would hide in the who it was, what was going on. My body immediately went into fight. As I got older, what happened, that happened with everything. All of the relationships, all of the people who were around. I would hide, footsteps on the floor above me. Footsteps on the floor above me would freak me out. Loud noises would freak me out. Even into my 30s, my husband would come up behind me. My husband would come up behind me and tap me on the shoulder, and my body would totally freak out. And I'd scream, and my hands would fly into the air. And I was a wreck for about everything. And it wasn't anything that good people or bad people were doing. It's that my body kept hijacking me. My body turned everything that I heard, everything that I saw into something dangerous. And I lived the majority of my life that way, which is a really hard way to live, because then you end up with tension and stress in your gut all the time. You end up with your heart racing too fast. You end up with chronic pain, chronic illness. You end up with relationships that never quite get any traction because as soon as things get scary or hard, you might run away, or you might react, or you might overreact to the situation when someone was trying to communicate. So this happens. This is normal when people are sensitive to trauma in their life. So when that happens, how do you get past it? I mean, I felt like my entire life was ruined and there was nothing I could do about it. That there was no help for me. There was no way to escape. There was no way to move forward or get any traction. And I just had to cope. I just had to, for some reason, sort of figure it out. So what do you do about that? Well, if you feel like your body is betraying you, if you feel like it's constantly reacting to everything that happens around you, it means that the first step you need to do is how to regulate your nervous system, how to start taking back your own self-care, how to start taking back the power you have to make yourself feel better. And if you're like me, you did a zillion things. I went to shamanism, I did support groups, I did women's circles, I learned energy healing. I learned Reiki, I studied with people. This is what we do. When you feel like you're out of control, like you're broken somehow, like your body doesn't work, like it doesn't work the way that you want it to, like mine didn't, then you're constantly searching for some way to turn back the clock, some way for your body to heal itself. Maybe it's gut health, maybe it's vitamins, maybe it's supplements, maybe it's going on vision quests. You don't know. So you keep trying things that'll hopefully make you feel better, but nothing really works. They kind of work for a little bit, but you don't understand. So the key underneath all of this is that you don't have the courage to make changes in your life because your body literally is holding you hostage. It's holding you back from making important, good steps that you want to make, from standing up for yourself, to asking for a raise, to defending yourself well, to walking out of a situation, to making better choices, to not going down your normal path, maybe of denial or pretending like nothing's happening, or disassociating or reacting to things. You know, all of this is what happens, is where you've been because you've been stressed out, because your nervous system has been chronically, constantly stressed out. How do you reverse this? How do you reverse this feeling of out of control that typically only happens when around certain people or in certain situations? So what do? You start realizing that the first step forward is to get yourself calm and centered, to start filling yourself with love and kindness, to start doing things which keep you balanced and put you in a good space, to take walks, to take baths, to find friends, to breathe deeply, and many times to get a coach, many times to get not just a therapist, but a coach and energy healers and surround who can really help you move forward. That's kind of the key. And when you start doing that, you naturally evolve as a person, and you find the courage, you have the courage, because now it's not you against the world. It's the universe conspiring with you to create a better life for yourself and everybody else. That's what we're doing here. So when you start going inward and looking at the things that cause you pain and doing the things that would comfort you, maybe you should have gotten when you were in that painful spot, the things that the love and the care and the compassion and the understanding and the thoughtfulness, you know, you're probably trying to get it from places, from people who aren't able to give it to you. And that's normal, because if you look around, look at the world we're in. It is so dysregulated, from, you know, our Supreme Court choices to the election happening, to the political ads, to people trolling online. We're living in a more and more toxic world, and it's not going to get much easier. And so trying to get your needs met from other people is just going to lead you down a path of being stuck. The answer is when you start to turn around and give yourself all the love and all the kindness that you were supposed to be getting your entire life. Maybe you didn't get it as a kid. Maybe situations weren't perfect and you did the best that you knew how, and everybody else around you did too. You know, that was my conclusion, is that everybody did the best that they knew how. And that's okay, because we're all on this path and on this journey together. But you can't make a change until you start to get your needs met. And you can't get your needs met until you start meeting them yourself and finding ways to meet them yourself. So instead of looking for someone else to comfort you when you're hurt and angry and upset, look to yourself and ask yourself, what do I need to feel comforted? What do I need to feel loved? What do I need to move forward today? When the question starts becoming about the kind of life that you want to live, rather than the kind of life that you feel you're living because you're being controlled by things around you, that's the game changer. When you start turning it from it's everyone else's fault, and you take it away from it's my fault, you put all that shame and all that guilt and all that blame down, and you do things to give yourself the love and kindness that you've been giving to everyone else. You turn it towards yourself. And when you do that, your resources start to grow. Your community starts to get bigger and healthier. You start to set better boundaries. You find insights and understandings that you didn't get before. And sometimes you're able to let down the pain and the suffering that maybe you've been carrying your entire life. because you've been stuck because no one ever told you really that the way out of the feeling of overwhelm and jumpiness and frightened and scared and angry and overwhelmed and tired, and the way out of that is to realize you need your needs met and that you can meet them yourself. So Diane wants to know, oh, can I print that out about putting out there what you need? Oh, I'll try. I'll see if I can get the transcript of that. You know, and when you start focusing on nourishing yourself so you can become the best version of yourself that you can be, when you start turning it around and being the best version of yourself you can be, someone who can look out through eyes that have compassion and understanding and wisdom for yourself and for other people, when you're able to look past the surface of your own reaction or someone else's reaction to a bad situation and hold the space. You can do that. You can find the courage. You can find the wherewithal. You can stop your body from overreacting and hijacking you. You absolutely can. There are answers out there. There's solutions out there. And you can find the ones that work for you. You just have to start looking. I have thousands of tools, and so do shamans and healers and energy workers and light workers around the world. The biggest problem is we don't turn that work on ourselves often enough. We spend so much time helping and healing and supporting other people without realizing that we are the first person who needs to be helped and healed and supported. And the person to do it is ourselves. The person to do it is the one you spend the most time with, which is you. If you want to hear words of love, think words of love. If you want to hear how important you are, tell yourself how important you are. If you want to feel like do things that tell your body that everything's okay. Take a bath, light a candle, go for a walk. That tells your body things are okay. It has to go from being in the dysregulated fight or flight space where you are reacting and feeling like you're constantly frozen in time, and realize that you have to go back in time. And you now, your future self, you're the future self that's reaching back to your past self and giving your past self all the love and all the care that you've been looking for, that you didn't get when you needed it. For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter. Now is the time. Now's the time to stop trying to people please, to stop trying to control, to stop trying to make everything better for everybody else, because that's not going to get you anywhere. That's going to keep you trapped. The direction you need to go in is one where you look to yourself and start making sure that you are getting what you need. And when that happens, all sorts of things start to change. People treat you differently. You treat yourself differently. You feel differently. You don't feel so sick. Suddenly you have more energy, more clarity of mind. You're able to hold better boundaries. You're smarter. You're more innovative. That's what happens when we nourish ourselves. That's what happens when we put ourselves first. Not in a me against you kind of a way, but in a I'm a valuable person sort of way. So do it. Do it. I dare you. I dare you to start doing things which are loving for you. And when you do them, when you start filling your head with loving thoughts, when you start filling your heart with loving feelings, when you start giving your body and your nervous system the care and concern that's always needed, you stop triggering. And it happens in phases, like polishing a mirror. But things get easier and easier, and your physical problems start to clear up, and you start to feel like you can handle life. Not that you've got 1,000 tons weighing on your shoulders and pinning you down to the ground. Okay? You can start taking that weight off, one rock at a time. So if you feel stuck, if you need some help, we have wonderful resources. Go to inspiremassage.com. So that we can get you some great tools, start you on the right path. We do some great tools to start you on the right path and get you feeling the best that you can feel, so you can make important steps to create a life that you're supposed to have, not a life that's dependent on your circumstances, okay? So have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you later. Okay?